Hello again, my Math 8 students. This is Mrs. Damavandy. Today we're going to be distributing and combining like terms. So I just have a bunch of examples to go through. Okay, so we always distribute first. Okay, I'm going to switch this. So we have 6 is going to distribute and multiply the 4y and the plus 2. So we get 6 times 4, 24y. 6 times a positive 2 is positive 12. And then we finish that distributing, but the expression continued. It had a minus 7, so we need to copy down, subtract 7 as well. Then from here, we just make sure all like terms are combined. So we have these two constants, plus 12 and minus 7. So we still have 24y, nothing to combine with it, but we can do 12 minus 7 is 5, which is the positive 5, and we're done. Simplified everything. Let's go to the next example. Okay, we're going to do 5 subtract 2 times a plus 1. Okay, so the minus sign in front of the 2 affects the 2. It makes it a negative 2. So we're really multiplying the a and the plus 1 that's inside the parentheses by negative 2. So I'm going to start with copying down the 5. Okay, but then let's do negative 2 times a. It's going to be negative 2a. And then when we do the negative 2 times the positive 1, that's negative 2. Again, we have like terms, the constant 5 and the constant negative 2. So I'm just going to copy down my negative 2a that didn't have a like term first. And then 5 minus 2 is positive 3. That one's done. Next problem. I'm going to distribute this 2 in front to 4x and minus 3. So you get 8x minus 6, and then we have to add 2. So we get 8x minus 4. Okay? Don't add 6 and 2 to get 8 and just put minus 8. Okay? Be careful. So what I was saying, don't look at it like this, because that's not true. It's not 8x minus 8. Okay? Because that's not a positive 6. It is a negative 6. So don't do that. Scribble it out. Alright. Let's distribute a negative number this time. So we have negative 3 is going to multiply 2x. We get negative 6x. Negative 3 is going to multiply negative 1. Be careful with negatives times negatives. That's going to be positive 3. Add 5 more. Becomes negative 6x plus 8 in total. Next problem, what do we got? Okay, so here we're going to distribute twice. 4 will distribute that first set of parentheses, and 3 will distribute into the second set. So 4 times x, we have 4x. 4 times negative 2, we have negative 8. We don't need to put the parentheses around this, because essentially they're gone, because they've served their purpose. We've multiplied, we've distributed. Okay? So then the next part we distribute is going to be positive 3 times the x, which is positive 3x. Positive 3 times positive 8 is going to be positive 24. So here, we need to make sure my term with x, my other term with x, positive 3, get combined. Okay, so we have 7 x's total. And then we have a negative 8 plus 24. maybe you don't like to start with -8. You can think of it as you have +24 and then you take away 8. It's the same thing. It should be 16 if I did my math right. Yeah. 4, 4. Yep. So that all simplifies to be 7x plus 16. Alright. This one. Again, doesn't look like... Well, when we have just a minus sign in front of the parentheses. It doesn't look like you're distributing anything, but really you are. There is a 1 between the minus sign and the parentheses. Okay? So this is 6 minus 1 times 2x plus 1. Or we would just say 6 minus the group 2x plus 1. Okay? With the previous problem, oh, that like went over my 1. With a previous problem, I said the sign in front affects the number you're distributing. Distribute -1. Don't just distribute a +1, because you'll end up not subtracting everything in the parentheses, because that's really what needs to happen here. We need to subtract every term that is in the parentheses. Okay, so we still have that 6, and we go with my you have to subtract idea. You have to subtract the 2x, and you have to subtract the +1. But that's what happens when you just distribute everyone. -1 times 2x is -2x. -1 times +1 is -1. Okay? So it's kind of two ways to think about it. And then when we simplify this by combining the like terms 6 and -1, we would have the -2x and then plus 5. Alright. Okay. So this one, we have some terms that are x squared. Hopefully you remember from one of our previous lessons that x squared is x times x. That's how you get x squared. Okay? So, order of operations. Should know them. You probably know them. Okay? We can simplify stuff or do everything that's in parentheses first. Totally an option. Because look at this. We have like terms inside that set of parentheses. We have this term with x squared, and then we have the other term with x squared. We could combine those first. Or we could distribute first. It won't really matter, because then after we distribute, we're going to end up combining. So let's combine first. We have in the parentheses, it needs to stay in the parentheses, because we haven't actually distributed that 3 in front. We have a single x squared, and we have to take away 3x squareds. So that actually combines to be -2x squareds. If it helps you to see it a little better, remember there's a 1 in front of here when there's not a coefficient that's written. Okay? And then the rest that was in the parentheses was a +4x. And then don't forget to finish copying everything down. We have +9 at the end. So, like I said, we could simplify by combining everything in the parentheses first and then distribute. So 3 times -2x squared is -6x squared. And our 3 times our +4x is +12x. And then we also have to add on another 9x, totaling up to be -6x squared plus 21x. 12, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. Yes, sorry, double checking myself today. Okay, this one. So, if we just jump in, let's multiply 5 to both of these. 5y plus 15. Okay, This one, don't just distribute a 3. This is negative 3. Negative 3 times positive y is negative 3y. This one is negative 3 times negative 8. Negative multiplying a negative equals a positive. Simplest mistake in the book to make. So this is positive 24. Okay? So, from here, combine like terms. We got our 5y and our negative 3y. So that's going to be 2 y's left over. And then 15 and 24 is going to be 39. And it looks like that's our last problem. So, I will see you guys later.